So I want to share a couple of things to just like be our best, most attractive selves this year. And truly it is all things that are in our control and that we can work on and that will help us in every avenue of our life, not just our dating life. So I want to talk about the inner qualities that we can really cultivate to really attract people, and yes, hopefully our future spouse, but also just in a friendship capacity, in a way that really just attracts people to you because you are joyful and you are a light. You are that salt and light in the world that Jesus calls us to be. Firstly, presence is magnetic. We are living in this digital revolution where everyone is glued to their screens and we're not really doing eye contact anymore. Maybe we're not even practicing active listening skills. So in this world, especially, being really present is so attractive. This means actually listening when people talk and not just thinking about what it is you're going to say. And I know that's really tempting because that is often what this kind of conversation ping pong looks like. But really listening, really hearing someone, not being afraid of like a little silence just so you can digest what they've just said, and just being really present to that moment with them. Really listening and really hearing someone and really looking them in the eye just makes them feel so seen, and that is something that can immediately elevate all of your social interactions. Secondly is exuding a calm energy. I think being really emotionally grounded, and this has taken me a really long time and I'm sure I'm going to continue to evolve in this, but just trying to not be so reactive. You know, today I parked my car, I paid the parking meter, came back, got a penalty fine, like one of those little yellow packets. And I thought, this is so unjust because I've paid for the parking, I've still got a parking ticket. What is going on? And honestly, me a few years ago probably would have flipped. I would have just been like, that would have ruined my day, because I would have been like, oh my gosh, that's such, wasted money. How could I have been so silly? Why didn't I read the sign properly? Now I have to pay the fine and I paid for the parking. And honestly, I would have just ruminated on it the whole day. And although I'm mentioning it to you today, so obviously it did impact me slightly, I saw it and I was like, that is annoying. I will learn from this and I will not make the same mistake again. And I could just shake it off. Like honestly, me from a few years ago would probably not be able to do this video having just received that parking ticket because I would have been in such a bad mood. So really like getting to regulate our nervous systems, to teach our bodies that, we're safe and that we're able to respond to things rather than react is incredibly attractive, because it just, it exudes like I'm calm. And I think when we actually are calm, it really shows to God that we trust you, because when we're just like flapping around because we're so stressed and anxious all the time, that doesn't give this positive energy to the world, and it's not necessarily the best witness either. Number 3 is, I like to say that interests make you interesting. And it really is true, because last year I, for the first time, allowed myself to really pour both time and money into hobbies. I decided to start learning horse riding, and I went on a roller skating course, and I did a ballroom dancing workshop. And it was the first time I really leaned into just doing things outside of my comfort zone, things I'd always said I wanted to do, but I never had the time, or I couldn't excuse the extra money for it, or whatever it was. I made all these excuses. And 2025 was the year that I was like, no, I'm gonna lean into these hobbies. And honestly, these things made my heart sing. It has made me more interesting. There are so many people in my life I had no idea were horse riders. I didn't grow up in that kind of country bumpkin kind of world. I'm a city slicker. So just finding out that people used to do it in childhood, or some people were actually show jumpers when they were teenagers, has been really good. So I want to encourage you that maybe this is your sign to take up a new hobby, because you never know the conversations it's going to start, the confidence it's going to give you, and just the sheer joy, honestly, the sheer joy. I would love to hear what you're hoping to achieve or to learn or to discover this year. So please do leave it in the comment box below. The 4th quality I'm really trying to hone in on this year is confidence. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way. I just mean that I really want my default to be, I belong here. Too many times I walk into a party, a shop, an office conference, whatever it is, and I immediately have this feeling, I don't belong here. I don't know as much of these people, or they don't like me, or I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, all these kind of things that the enemy likes to say to us, right? That make you feel like an outsider where you're somewhere. And I do not want that to be my default state anymore. So I really want to walk in and be like, I'm unrepeatable. God put me here for a reason. God gave me this opportunity specifically. I'm meant to be here. And to go into places with that energy is going to be so different for me. So definitely, I think that confidence is always very attractive, because it just shows that you know who you are, and who we are children of God, and that's like amazing. So anytime we act as as anything less, it just doesn't make sense, right? So I want to have that holy, godly confidence. Number 5 is I want to grow in emotional intelligence. So for example, I'm really bad at silences. I will fill them. Whenever there's a silence, I will just be like, blah, blah, blah. And it's this kind of nervous childishness that I can't really sit in the silence. And I want to be able to just be a little more still, to read a room better, and to not always feel like I need to be performing. Like I want to be able to just sit and to just be present. We talked about that presence, but to really just kind of read the emotions of the room and know that maybe sometimes it's not even my place to need to fix the emotional state, and to be able to read people and actually see what they need, not what I think they need, because I think often we assume things. So I want to be less presumptuous and more open to really seeing people's needs and being able to serve in that way better. I think it will make me a better conversationalist. I think it will make me more empathetic. So that's another goal of mine. Number 6 is romanticizing my life more, being more joyful, more positive. And this is again going to that kind of glass half empty, glass half full mindset. I started the year last year in a very glass half empty. I was looking at all the things I didn't have. I was not looking at all my blessings. I was not counting them. I was just feeling so sorry for myself. So this year I really want to just enter into romanticizing every day. And I know that sounds really lame when you're single and you don't have your person, but you really can do this. So like I have been in winter seeing every single sunrise because I walk my dog in the morning. It's really great because it's not late, so it's very easy to catch. And when I watch that sunrise, I'm just like captivated by God's ingenuity and his creativity. And it's as if he's giving this sunrise just for me. You know, like there's something about it that's stunning. At home, I have candles. I have like a whimsical playlist. I like dancing in the kitchen and doing these things which may seem frivolous, may seem silly, but they genuinely, I feel like, change something in your brain, in your body, and just make you feel happier. And happiness and joy is so attractive because when you see someone with that, even more so when it's harder to explain, right? Because when like, okay, maybe when someone's hit the milestones, like they've bought the house, they got married, and you see them happy and you're like, well, of course you're happy. You have all these things. There is something quite special when you see someone who doesn't necessarily have those tick boxes and yet still has that joy. And you're like, what is that joy? Where does that come from? Number 7 is having direction and purpose, vision in your life. So I, for the second time, have made a vision board, and it's really nice because you sit down, it's a really lovely exercise. Like, what would I love to achieve this year? What would I love to see? And it's not a checklist. It's more just like for me, I wanted to feel more confident in myself, and I wanted to learn to really rest. So on my vision board was like a picture of like a cozy cup of coffee and like fluffy slippers, and it was to really tell me, learn how to rest. And I also had a picture of a chapel in Paris where I really had my kind of heart conversion back to Christianity, and I wanted to go back because I've not been back for 5 years, and I got to go last summer, and just various things which were really nice, which just filled me with hope and excitement. And I think having that vision and that direction, and also being able to talk it through. So I also had my vision board as the background of my phone, and sometimes it would start conversations because people would be like, what is that collage? And I'd say, oh, well, this and this, and I was able to explain a little bit of my hopes and dreams and the kind of direction that I was going in, and it was really nice. And you know, not everything came true as I kind of wanted it to, but everything somehow did weave together and kind of, you know, come to fruition to some degree. Number 8 is to be more thoughtful, more observant, more caring, because I think when you see those little details and you can serve others and you remember things, it really matters to people. So something I'm trying to do is when I meet someone new and they mention something to me, maybe their sister's just had a baby or they just got a new job or something, then the next time I see them, I really try to remember those details so I can ask, how's your sister's new baby, or how's that new job? Because again, it makes people feel listened to and cared for, and that is hugely attractive. And I think when you're dating, to be able to really pick up on those little things is really special. And number 9 is radical self-acceptance. There is nothing hotter than being yourself, being genuine, and really having that mindset. Because honestly, even the most objectively good-looking person, right, can have days when they feel horrible. They just feel insecure, they feel invisible, and objectively we can see that their physical appearance did not change. It's just a mindset, a way of carrying themselves, a posture. So really having this self-acceptance, this self-love, and knowing our worth as children of God is just going to help us to carry ourselves this year in a better way, to sit up straighter, to present our best selves. Because ultimately, looks don't matter as much as we all think they do. Sometimes people are attracted to people and they can't explain it. There's just just something about them. There's a swag or something. And you know, that is something we can really harness for ourselves. Things like our mission, our vision, our ambition, our kindness, our generosity. These are all things that can really up our points in the attractiveness scale, because it's really nice when you meet someone who sees that detail, who listens to you, who has a vision for their life, who has interests and has built a life that is attractive and you want to know more. So my prayer for us all this new year is that we can really step into who God created us to be. And I hope this has been encouraging, and I would love to hear some of your New Year's resolutions. So please do share. And don't forget to subscribe to Salt for more content around dating in a Christ-centered way, so that you can really embrace our faith at the forefront of that, even as a single person, even in the season when it may feel difficult, it may feel long, and it may sometimes feel like a slog, but Jesus is always there and he's always at the heart and center. And that is what this channel is here to remind you, that you are loved and there is so much love for you to experience. Thank you so much for listening, and see you soon.